The Dravari ship moved quietly through the dark space above Earth. Their black armor reflected no light. Inside, their leader, Commander Jar, stood tall and cold. He looked at Earth with hungry eyes. "Let's see what these humans taste like," he said with a grin. His crew laughed. For centuries, the Dravari hunted the weak. They never lost. No species had ever stopped them. They believed Earth would be easy. But something was wrong. As they entered orbit, a warning light flashed on their screen. "Strange signal detected," said one officer. They ignored it. "We've got incoming," she said. The room went silent. She sent out a single command: "Activate the net." Within minutes, Earth's defense systems came alive. Old satellites changed position. Invisible weapons warmed up. The Dravari didn't know it yet, but Earth wasn't like the others. This planet watched. This planet learned. And now it was ready. "Commander." Jer sent his first team down to the surface. "Hunt quickly," he ordered. "We leave no survivors." And in the trees, something else was waiting. They came to hunt, but they were being hunted. A motion sensor blinked. A hidden camera turned. In the next, the first Dravari screamed and then went silent forever. The real hunt had begun. But it was not the one they expected. The Dravari landed deep in Earth's northern forest. The sky was dark, and snow covered the ground. 5 hunters stepped out of their ship, tall and armored, with glowing red visors and sharp blades on their backs. "This world is cold," one of them said. Commander Varn clicked his jaw. "All the better. Their bodies will freeze. Easy trophies." They moved through the forest in silence, scanning for movement. But Earth was too quiet. No human sounds, no signals, nothing. It felt wrong, but the Dravari didn't care. They were predators. They feared no one. One of the hunters, Zar, broke away from the group. "I'll circle around," he said through the comes. He vanished into the trees. 10 minutes passed, then 20. No response. Commander Varn growled, "Zar, report." Silence. Then the sound came, soft static and a strange click. A human sound, followed by a short scream. Then nothing. The Dravari froze. "We're not alone," whispered one of them. Suddenly, a loud snap echoed through the forest. "Fall back," Varn shouted, but it was too late. A figure moved between the trees, fast, silent, human. But not just any human. This one was trained, precise, and deadly. The Dravari opened fire, but the figure was gone. Another hunter fell, then another. One by one, the predators were being picked off. Commander Varn ran for the ship, but stopped when he saw a human standing in front of it. Calm, steady. The man spoke just one word: "Prey." Varn's eyes widened. This wasn't a hunt, this was a trap. And the Dravari were already dead, they just didn't know it yet. Commander Varn stormed out of the Dravari base camp, his eyes glowing with fury. 4 of his best hunters were dead, killed by shadows, killed by humans. "This planet is cursed," one soldier whispered. "No," Varn growled. "It's not cursed, it's clever." He ordered a full sweep. Burn the forest. Scan every heat signature. Tear apart every human hiding spot. But Earth didn't fight back the way other worlds did. No open battles. Abandoned. Empty. Not a single human in sight. The silence was strange, but they pushed forward. One hunter entered a house. He opened a door. Click. A soft ticking sound. Boom. The explosion shook the trees. 2 more houses blew apart seconds later. Screams followed. Smoke filled the sky. They trapped the village. Another cried. Everywhere they went, there were traps. Pressure mines hidden in snow. Razor wires strung between trees. Brutally smart. "Who are these people?" Varn said. Under his breath, he checked his map. It was no longer working. Even their tech was being turned against them. Drones circled above, silent and small. Cameras hidden in birds. Satellites watching every step. Earth was not fighting with strength. Earth was fighting with strategy. One soldier fell into a pit lined with metal spikes. Another walked into a barn end, vanished into flames. One by one, the Dravari realized. This was not war. This was a game of survival, and they were losing it. Varn finally understood. Earth wasn't just defending itself, it was playing with them, and it was only the beginning. Commander Varn stood over the map, lines and markers glowing red. 7 squads gone, over 20 hunters dead. They fight. Like shadows, his second-in-command whispered. No, Varn growled. Shadows don't kill this cleanly. He looked at the last report. A squad wiped out near a hydro station. No sound. No alarm, just sudden silence. Their body cams. Cut out one by one. No screams, no panic, just ... vanishing. The Drivari had faced armies, monsters, machines, but never this. But he moved faster. Than their scanners, he shot with perfect aim. And when he struck, no one survived to tell the tale. One Drivari unit tried to set a trap mines, drones, full surveillance. They waited in the dark, but the ghost never walked in. He climbed in from above. One survived. Commander Varn listened to the report in silence. Then came the next hit. No signs of entry, no evidence left behind, except for one thing, a small tag scratched into a metal wall. Run faster. They looked over their shoulders in the dark. The ghost had changed everything. The hunters were being hunted by one man, and no one could stop him. Snow fell gently on the burned village as Commander Varn stared into the flames. His armor was cracked, his troops were tired, and worst of all, they were afraid. This was something new. The Drivari did not fear, not ever. But Earth had changed that. Each night, another squad disappeared, not in battle, not in a fight. The bodies that were found had one thing in common, a single bullet right between the eyes. We are being watched, one soldier said. His voice shook. They're everywhere, listening, waiting. They fired at movement. They barked at each other. 5 words, you sleep. I don't need to. Commander Varn crushed the ice under his boot. He tried to rally his troops. The cold wasn't from the wind. It was from fear. They scanned the skies for ships. Nothing. They tried to jam human signals. It didn't help. The traps kept coming. The ambushes continued. And always, always, the ghost was near. For the first time in their long, bloody history, the Drivari were being hunted, and worse, they had no idea how to stop it. The cold air crackled with tension as the last remaining Drivari ships lifted off from the forest. Commander Varn stood on the deck, staring down at the burning earth below. His claws gripped the railing. Pull back. We regroup in orbit, he ordered. His voice sounded strong, but inside, he was broken. Half his forces were gone. The rest were paranoid, wounded, afraid. We'll call the fleet, his second-in-command said. End this with fire. Multiple contacts fast and closing, Varn spun around. But he was wrong. Out of the darkness, Earth's defense ships appeared, sleek, silent, deadly. They didn't match any known designs. Not even the Galactic Council had seen these crafts. Before the Drivari could react, missiles streaked through the sky. One of their ships exploded in seconds. How did they hide this? Shouted a pilot. They knew we'd run, Varn whispered. On the ground, hidden missile launchers rose from frozen lakes. From low orbit, satellites turned firing lasers that melted metal from miles. Away it wasn't a battle. It was a massacre. The Drivari tried to escape, but every path was blocked. Fighters cut off retreat routes. Drones jammed their systems. Their own weapons turned against them, hacked, overridden, useless, one by one. The mighty Predator ships fell. Varn watched in horror as his command ship was struck. Flames erupted behind him. Sparks flew. Then, the comm screen lit up. A human face appeared. Calm, cold, focused. You should have stayed in the dark, the man said. Then the screen went black. The Drivari came to Earth as hunters. Now they were the hunted, and Earth had just closed the trap. Smoke rose from the broken remains of the last landing ship as Commander Varn knelt beside a dying soldier. Blood leaked from the young warrior's mouth. His voice cracked as he spoke. Sir, I saw him, the human. What did he look like? Varn asked. The soldier shivered. He didn't look angry. He looked disappointed. And then silence. Varn stood slowly, eyes dark. Others had stopped talking altogether. Their armor was dirty. Their weapons hung useless at their sides. They had broken 1,000 codes on 1,000 planets. But now, their own code was about to break. Never run, never fear, never retreat. That was the law of the Drivari. But fear had taken root, and it was spreading like fire. Whispers filled the camp. We're cursed. He's always watching. There's no way out. Varn knew they couldn't survive much longer. His tech teams couldn't contact the homeworld. Earth had blocked their signals. Their maps were scrambled. Even the stars above looked unfamiliar. "How is this possible?" he asked. No one answered. Then came a flash of red across the sky. Another Dravari dropship, one of the last, was torn apart in midair by a human railgun blast. Pieces rained down like burning ash. Varn made the call. "All surviving units, retreat." The order sent shock through the troops. "No, Commander, that's against the code." He didn't care anymore. "If we stay, we die." But as they began pulling back, another human message came through. "There comes simple, cold, final Roan. We'll still find you." The code was shattered. The hunters were broken, and now there was nowhere left to hide. The Dravari warship, Black Claw, limped through the stars, smoke trailing behind it. Half its hull was gone. Its engines sparked with dying power. Inside, blood stained the walls, and silence filled the halls. Only one Dravari remained alive, Commander Varn. He sat alone in the command chair. One eye swollen shut, armor cracked and burned. His hands trembled as he clutched the ship's controls. Guiding it toward deep space, a human had let him live, not out of mercy, as a warning. On the bridge monitor, a message blinked again and again. He tried to shut it off, but it returned every time you came to hunt us. Now you understand who the predators really are. The words were burned into his mind. He remembered Earth's silence, the way the humans never begged, never panicked. They planned, they adapted. They hunted with patience, precision, and a kind of coldness that Dravari had never faced before. They thought humanity was prey, but humanity was a storm, a force of nature, fire and death. And now, they had turned that survival into a weapon. The Galactic Council watched as Black Claw approached their border. When the transmission arrived, leaders gathered in secret. They listened to Varn's message, shaky, broken, full of fear. "They don't fight like us. They don't stop. You think you're safe? You're not. They will find you too." Then the signal cut out. No war declaration, no grand speech, just one broken survivor, and the truth was louder than any weapon. The message was clear. Earth does not forgive. Earth does not forget. Filled with noise and arrogance, had fallen into a cold, silent stillness. Dozens of alien leaders sat around the great circle, warriors, scientists, strategists, staring at the flickering hologram above them. It showed a human dot, just one helmet off.com, eyes. Base stepping over the bodies of once feared hunters like they were nothing. He paused, turned to a camera, and said, "If you come for us again, we won't stop at defense." The message ended. No threats, no roar, just a promise. Stayed quiet. Counselor J. Shal, from the stone-skinned Vornak people, broke the silence. "That was one man." "Yes," someone answered. "One human." "And how many Dravari died?" "Hundreds," whispered a voice. "Some say thousands. Their fleet is crippled. Their code is broken. Their homeworld is next." A soft murmur ran through the room. These were the same leaders who had laughed at Earth, who once said, "Humans are soft, fragile." Now, none of them dared to speak such words again. They never even sent an army. Counselor Vosh said, eyes wide, "Just shadows, traps, a single soldier." "They didn't fight like we expected," another counselor said slowly. "They fought like something far older, far darker." The head of the council stood at last. His voice shook. No more mockery, no more underestimating. He looked round at the silent chamber. "From this day forward, we will treat Earth, not as prey, but as a power, one that watches, one that waits." No vote was called, no argument was raised, because deep down, they all felt the same thing: fear. The skies above Dravari Prime were once filled with mighty warships' blades of steel that cast shadows over entire cities. Now, the sky was quiet. Smoke drifted from spaceports. Fires burned across the capital, and the once proud predators looked up in silence. Hovering high above the planet was a single human vessel. Sleek, silent, untouched. It didn't fire. It didn't need to. Inside, the human commander stood at the viewing window, arms crossed, eyes cold. "Let them see us," he said. "Let them remember this moment. Down below, Commander Varn sat among the ruins. His armor was gone. His claws were broken, and in his chest he carried something worse than any wound defeat. The Dvari were once the galaxy's apex predators. They hunted worlds for sport. They never feared, never ran, never lost. But that title was gone now, stripped away, taken by the very species they had mocked humans. Across the galaxy, news of the fall spread like fire. The Council said nothing. Other predator species hid their fleets. Worlds that once feared the Dvari now watched their downfall with awe and terror because the message was clear. Earth hadn't just survived, it had hunted the hunters. No speeches came from the human ship, no demands, no negotiations, just presence. The humans had traced the blood back to its source. They saw the killers, the tormentors, the monsters, and they chose not to destroy them. They chose to watch. The Dvari learned the final lesson that day. They were apex no more. And the real predators, they were human, and they had just gotten started.